My daughter started college this fall at Reed University, and I think she's loving it because she's been sending me the titles of all the books she's been reading and asking me questions like, Dad, which book had the most impact on your life? And then a couple of weeks ago, she sends me pictures of pictures in her text of passages from Plato's dialogue. And she's like, look at this. Can you believe what this says? Have you read this stuff? And I'm like, yeah. Because when I was in college, my friends would be like, McNeil, why are you majoring in philosophy? And I said, because someday one of my kids might want to have a conversation about the death of Socrates, okay? So we're talking about Socrates and how he was condemned to die on these trumped up charges of impiety and leading the youth of Athens astray. And it was really just about, the political leaders wanted to get rid of their biggest critic. So yeah, nothing's changed in 2,500 years. And so we start talking about him being sentenced to death and how, Plato and the other guys, they're hanging out with him and they're trying to convince him not to do this. And they're literally like, man, you can escape. We'll help you get out of town. You can leave. And he starts talking about community and being a citizen. And ultimately he says, exile would be worse than death. And he willingly drinks that hemlock. And they were in tears. And I got to tell you, I was moved. I was teary-eyed as I read this. I thought, how in the world could anybody choose to do something like that? Well, for some reason, this got me thinking about what it's been like to be a teacher for the last couple of years. And I remember the first day last fall coming back to in-person instruction. And I was scared. 59 years old, there are no vaccines. I know how high school kids are with masks. And I've got my own mask that's standing between me and this hemlock I feel like I'm being asked to maybe drink. And I spent that day asking my classes, the half of the kids that were there, because half were online. And I said, do we really need to be here? Can't we just do this online? And this one girl who knew me, who cared about me, looked at me with a little bit of tears in her eyes, and she says, Mr. McNeil, I can't do this at home. I have to be here at school. And I got it. I understood how somebody could choose death over exile. I understood how so many people were putting themselves at risk because that was their place in the community. And I suddenly realized my place in the community. I teach in the diploma level of the International Baccalaureate program, one of the most rigorous academic programs you can take in a public school anywhere in the world. And my job is to teach kids, is to use math to teach kids how to think and how to solve problems and how to persevere in the face of doubt and confusion. And so I didn't look back. I've been going at it for a year now. About 1 month ago, there were 3 open slots on our school board and a slate of candidates with support from dark money outside of our district with two things on their list. They were against critical race theory and masks. And they got voted in. And last Wednesday night, their first act was to repeal the mask mandate in our district. To give everybody in our district with 1 week to go in the semester the opportunity to take Omicron home for the holidays. And when it passed, the boardroom erupted in cheers and applause. And one of the board members who's been helping us get through the pandemic, she spoke up and she said, you guys, some of our kids now might get sick. Maybe somebody dies. And their response was, well, that's just the price we have to pay. And she said, that's not okay. And her response was met with total silence. So I showed up this past Monday with my mask on, doing my job. And the last few days I've been proctoring final exams. And I found myself looking around the room. And I noticed that all but 2 kids were wearing their masks. Nobody told them they had to. And I remembered this little definition from Socrates I've been carrying around for 40 years, that wisdom is the intelligent use of knowledge. But it felt like something more. I looked around that room and I felt like these were kids that cared about each other, and they care about me. I felt like they wanted to make sure I'm going to be okay, that I can keep showing up and taking care of them and helping them to get ready for this crazy world. And if Socrates were here right now, I think he might be a little disappointed to hear me say that maybe the choice between death and exile has more to do with love than logic.